Hey everybody, welcome back to the JD Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Jacob.
I'm David.
Don't forget, we have an app currently out now on Apple App Store that is for all your fantasy redraft and Dynasty trade needs. Exactly. It also does draft strategy for redraft and can analyze your team. Check that out soon on Google, but out now on Apple. Today, we're just going to talk about a couple trades that I've made and that David, at least one that I made and one that David made. And then I kind of want to get into like the strategy behind making, like, not specifically these trades, but just in general when you're trading in Dynasty in the off season, and like, what do you look for? What do you do? How do you value like draft picks, stuff like that? So let's get it started, and we'll start with your trade.
Alrighty, let's get started. So I recently made a trade, or I accepted a trade, I should say, where I received RJ Harvey, the 2026 106 and 107, and I sent Devontae Adams, Breece Hall, and Jalen Coker.
Solid.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see how it pans out. But
like we were saying, off recording, that like it depends on how the 106, 107 pans out. But you will. I mean, you got Harvey, which is a second-year player, for pretty much for exchange for Breece Hall. I think that's fair.
The way I look at
the
it is I got Harvey in the 6 for Breece Hall, and then the 107 for Devontae Adams and Coker.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
And I think that's fair because Adams has a year or two left. I mean, he could stretch it a couple more years, but honestly, for me, and this goes into like the strategy part of it, is it's probably better to get what you can out of an older player than to hold on to him and then eventually have to drop him.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to find the right time to sell. I mean, because like you said, he could play for 3-4 more years, or he can be his last year. It's really hard to tell with the older players.
And like, God forbid he gets injured, and like a pretty bad one, he could hang it up. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think this is a solid trade. And in the 1.06 and 1.07, you're gonna for sure get a couple receivers. I'm trying to think of who would probably be there. Like Casey Concepcion.
Yeah, that's probably be the main one that I get. And we'll see how the board falls, but you never know, I guess.
Right. I think it depends on if somebody takes his Mendoza early on. I know I'm not, and I got 2 picks ahead of you.
Right.
Which we'll get into that because that actually involves my trade later on. But yeah, I think it really just depends if somebody takes a quarterback early. There's not too many needy teams in our league that needs quarterbacks that have an early pick before me or before you. So
no, and we play a 1 QB league, so quarterbacks shouldn't be going until late first at the earliest.
Early second.
And that's if, like you said, that's if you need one. Which most teams have at least 2 QBs on their roster.
Right, and I agree with that. Like I stick with 2. I see the need to have 3 every now and again in case of injuries and bye weeks, but I keep 2. I got Love and Bo Nix, and they're serviceable. I mean, not the best. I like Love as a Packer fan, but as far as like a fantasy QB, he has his ups and downs, and so
Yeah. It's funny, in my one of my dynasty leagues, we have a deeper bench. I have like 5 quarterbacks on my team.
Damn. 5?
But to be fair, I think I have 4 starters. I have Josh Allen, Darnold, Show, and maybe it's just 3. And then I have like Sanders and like a couple of guys that could.
Yeah. Throw them on your taxi and be like, let's see what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how the Browns shake out, because I've been hearing inklings, and a little off topic, but I've been hearing inklings that Deshaun Watson might, get that start in Cleveland.
We'll see.
I don't know what's up with that franchise, to be completely honest. Sorry, Browns fans. But like you were telling me before recording, you were kind of regretting the trade.
Yeah, I think it's just I don't know. I'm high on Breece Hall. and he was the only piece that I really did not like to lose. But
You are a little abnormally high on Brees Hall. Like, it's funny, and I get it because Brees Hall is good, but he's like the only good player on the Jets, you know. But they brought in some people. They drafted
yeah,
God, I can't remember the
receiver,
guys. The
tight
receiver,
end,
yeah,
and the tight end.
yeah. So like, they're picking it up.
Cooper, I think, is Cooper Jr. I think is who
Yeah,
they picked.
Cooper Jr. I was like, I couldn't remember the name. You know, all these damn rookies trying to remember them all. And you know what? And I don't know if you've been hearing about the supplemental draft that might happen with that QB. I'd have to look it up, but there might the NFL might do a supplemental draft, and I've been seeing the Jets might throw in a pick for him, and they could have their QB of the future. I think that would be interesting. Now, obviously, that's all
Speculative.
exactly. Like, I think it'd be interesting to see. And what's funny is like I because I've been watching it. The last player to be picked on on that draft was like 2019, and I didn't even know about it. Right,
I've never heard about it.
right. So it's funny. It's funny. But yeah, I think I do find I would have made that trade. I think it's a good trade. I know our calculator says it was a fair trade, or like somewhat unbalanced, but it really just depends on
how you value the picks. Yeah.
Correct.
What's your risk tolerance?
Right. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like we put a number value on picks, but it's really up to you on how you want to value that. Do you think a first round draft pick for a rookie is better than a certain player? It's really up to you. You know.
Yeah.
I think.
Right, so let's hear about your trade. What'd you get?
My trade, which actually is funny because it involves your trade. I traded Ladd McConkey, RJ Harvey, which you ended up getting, the 2026 1.07, 2026 2.05, and 2.08 for, and I received Brian Thomas Jr., Quinshawn Judkins, and the 2026 1.05 or 1.04 and 1.05. And honestly, no regrets here. I think, in my opinion, BTJ and Ladd McConkey pretty much similar. They both kind of had a down. They both had like a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
There's less, in my opinion, less mouths to feed in Jacksonville than there are in the Chargers. I was going to say LA, but we got the Rams as well. So the Chargers. And then between Judkins and Harvey, and okay, you want to know my reasoning for trading Judkins for both of those? Is Harvey is, I want to say 25 and Judkins like 22. It was purely, and like, cause like I think
age, yeah.
Right, it was purely an age thing. I'm like Judkins may last a little longer in the league, where I think their skills are the same. Now it's the Browns, so, but they've also made some changes. They've you know, their draft wasn't too bad.
They're going at it.
Right. And then I got 2 first round picks, which I was pretty happy with. So pretty much I traded, we swapped first, because I feel like I could have done the player for player straight up and it would have been fine. But I wanted 2 first round picks. I got a little greedy, so I offered the 2 second rounds for the 1.05, and then we pretty much swapped first rounds as well.
I mean, player for player, when you feel like the players are relatively this similar, it's hard to do. Like, what's the point of doing a
I agree,
yeah.
But I used it to get the draft picks because I value the draft picks this year a little higher. I'm hoping to pick up a running back and a receiver with those 2, and they're back to back, which is nice. But if I have to take 2 receivers, you know, because there's a lot more of them than running backs, you know, I could do it. I feel like last year had a bunch of running backs in them.
Yeah, there was last
Hampton, Scat.
Okay.
Judkins, Sampson.
Yeah, there was a good amount.
Harvey, like, but yeah, no. So for me, that was the big trade I made in the off season, and that was also setting myself up for draft day, to hopefully get some good day 1 starters in the draft for rookies. I know I'm pretty solid at receiver, So I'm hoping to get a running back, but there's three people ahead of me that will most likely take. I mean, Love is going off the board for sure. Jeremiah Love's going off the board. Pick one. Especially now that there's also was another trade happen that the guy that had pick one traded. So the guy that now has pick one, the new 1.0 will for sure draft Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
So I'm not
or trade it before.
Right. Our draft's this Friday, so I mean, it's a long draft, 4-hour picks between, we're all working people, so the draft will probably last a couple days because we end at 10 p.m. But I'm more than happy with this trade. It took us a while to get there between me and him, but we eventually got here. We were both happy with it, and then he turned around and traded Harvey to you.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I guess I could have traded you Harvey, but
cut out the middleman.
Right. But I'm happy with it. I don't think I would go back. Pretty solid trade. I think it was fair for both of us. I know I pumped it in. I put it in the calculator. Excuse me.
It's late.
I'm sorry. It's work. I've been talking about my calendar all day at work, and so yeah, we put it in the calculator, and it said slightly unbalanced, and that was purely due to the 2 first-round picks that I received versus the 2 second rounds in the first. Because putting them player for player, I think Ladd was valued more than BTJ. But this is
BTJ's value took a beating last year.
Correct.
For sure.
He had the worst year between him and Ladd. BTJ had the worst year. So I understand the value change, but this is why I say I love having a calculator for reference, but it's really up to you at the end of the day to be
you got to go with the players
this.
You like.
Right.
Yeah.
I like this trade. It makes sense for my team. It actually even increased my playoff probability by 1%, negligible, but it was cool,
Yeah.
That's what it said on the calculator. So I'm going to take it. I'm happy with it. But like I said, it took us, I want to say it took us 2 days of negotiations to get here.
See, those are the fun trades,
right?
Where you can actually work and, both sides be happy.
Right. Right. No, I agree. But yeah, I think my strategy this year, I don't typically have a draft strategy, or not draft strategy, excuse me, a trade strategy. I just look to see if it makes sense for my team. I think that's the only strategy I use is, all right, you want one of my players for this player, but I already have 5 of those types of players. That's the only, and obviously I think everybody does that. You're right.
Yeah,
I would assume. Right? There was a couple trades that I saw the last couple weeks that made 0 sense, but to each their own. Right. If you want us to talk about it, we can on next week. Let us know. We just won't say names.
Right. So they'll know who they are. No,
our league mates will know. You'll know who you are, but nobody else will. So it doesn't matter.
I mean, the strategy should be how can I make my team better,
right,
and more competitive. But I think it also depends on where you're at. Do you think your team is ready to win, compete now, or are you more gearing towards trying to rebuild and maybe in a couple of years that you can be ready to go?
Right, because I think there was some offers that I received over the last couple of weeks that would if I was in a rebuild, 100% would take that. But I'm not. My team's contending right now. I'm consistently making it to playoffs.
According to some, our teams are pretending.
Pretending, exactly. Sorry. But it's my team's contending. My app says it. I say it. Even making it to 3 straight playoff appearances in Dynasty, that just shows a pattern.
Yeah. Now, and anything can happen.
Right. So now, obviously, barring major injuries to a lot of your team, me and you have pretty solid teams, so I'm not going to make certain trades that would hurt my team.
Jeopardize that.
Unless I need to draft younger players. But I actually feel like I've kept my players pretty young. I think the oldest guy on my team is Amon-Ra. Like, I'd have to look it up, but I legitimately think that's the oldest guy on my team right now.
No, yeah, you try to find that balance of youth versus experience versus high value players,
Right.
And if it don't, yeah, the value might have been great or be there according to the calculator, but it also has to make sense for my team, and that's why we did create the my team analysis, so that way it can give you a little bit more feeling of like, oh, this is like, even though it's like 800 plus value points, it's hurting my team in the long run, because, oh, I'm weak at running back. They're trying to trade for running back and they're giving me a bunch of receivers. Yeah, the
Right.
value is great, but it don't help my team at all.
And that's what I like when it shows, like when you actually use that feature with the calculator itself, it shows you like, yeah, you'll increase your value, by X number, but your playoff chances actually decrease because you're losing your only good asset on for this position. So I think for me, it's why I wanted to build this app to help guide like newer players or veterans or just, whoever wants to use it. But that's why I wanted to build it, just because like you use it for a guide. And so far I'm really liking it. I love the app. I think it's working great. I'm hoping Google gets their stuff together and lets us go to production. I don't know what the holdup is with them. But you can get it on Apple if you're an Apple fan. I know there's a lot of Apple users out there, so check it out. I think with that, let us know, what trades have you made in the comments.
Yeah, let's see them.
Do you like this content? Do you want something different? Let us know. But if you want us to talk trades, send them into our comments and we'll talk about it. We'll plug them into our app. We'll show it on the next video.
Or if you want to send a trade that you declined and the person was like, what, how could you decline that? That's so good for you. And we can talk about it. Yeah. So whatever the case may be, whether it's an accepted trade, a trade that was offered, or something you said, and they were like, you're not even close, but you felt like you were, we can talk about that as well.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll plug into the app, see how close you were, and we'll go from there. But other than that, I think we're going to call it there. You all have a beautiful day, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time, guys.